How's it going, Lazy Bruce's? I'm Sixkilla and welcome back to the VII Enigma. I'm all calm now. Hopefully this one isn't as emotionally charged as the last one, because that was getting pretty hard, man. That was getting pretty hard. We're with Beckett now anyway, who the only emotion I'm going to have is fucking seething hatred. So let's carry on, shall we? Beckett walks briskly down the affluent streets of the eastern sector, en route to the next on the list Lionel has instructed him to terminate. Unusual for a terrorist to be from the eastern sector. That's true. All the ones we've dealt with over the last several days have been from the western sector, and just those few from the southern sector. I guess that's what you expect? Yes, but there are always exceptions. Kinda like you joining me out in the field. Well, you requested I help with this device, so here I am. Though it does seem, given the frequency lately, that this is no longer the exception, but the norm. Still, I'd prefer to be focusing on capturing Dr. Shaw right now than doing the grunt work. They'll still be there for the capture when the job is done, sir. I'm keeping an eye on the nanomachine trackers, so I'll tell you if we notice any movement. For now, they're staying put, but wherever they go, it'll be easy enough to follow them. Very well. Anyway, here we are. The two arrive at a house, which, though ordinary compared to the others in the sector, is nonetheless an expensive and spacious dwelling. The assistant knocks on the door. After a short period of time, the door opens as a man with a deep voice queries them. Is there something I can help you with? My name is Agent Beckett. I'm with the Intelligence Division. The assistant gets ready to use the device to force compliance, but the man interjects with a request. Wait, I get it. You must have got wind of our plans. I won't resist. Just don't involve my family and I'll come quietly. Beckett clicks his tongue in frustration. You're coming quietly anyway. Do it now! The assistant switches on the device. On the ground now! Beckett orders the man down with commanding voice as he swiftly complies over the threshold of the doorstep. This is him. Have we run the ID check? Correct, sir. That is him. Beckett draws his gun and steps over the man. Putting his gun straight down, he squeezes the trigger. Alert the cleanup team. We're done here. As Beckett steps back away, he hears a small voice from inside. Dad? A small boy stands watching on from within the house, calling out to his fallen father. Ugh. Beckett's face contorts as he turns back on the scene and walks toward the street. Hurry up, we're leaving. Right. From here, Beckett makes his way one by one to the other locations, taking care of target. After target. After target. Occasionally the target proved more resistant than anticipated, jumping them before the device could be properly activated. Though Beckett seemed to find solace in letting out his pent-up rage in a battle of fists. Alright, that's enough to playing around. How many more to go? Now. Not many left now, sir. Good. I want to wrap this up so we can get to our main target. Are you sure you're okay, sir? You seem... Careful what you say next, I'm not in the mood. Despite his attempts to stay blind, but to the mission at hand, a torrent of questions forced himself into Beckett's mind. Am I really okay with this? It's a bit fucking late for that, isn't it? Is this really who I've become? Is this what he would have wanted? Of course not. No, that question doesn't matter anymore. I cannot deny the truth of this world. This is how the weak think. I cannot be like them. I will see the darkness for what it is. I must survive. I must rise. With Beckett's confliction rises his anger, though he paradoxically channels his anger to further his twisted ambition and resolve. Lead the way to our next target. Let's hurry and get this done. Beckett moves on in a determined fashion, as when he struggles against the outgoing tide. February 7th. Is it done? The next morning, Elijah and Jasper are hard at work when they met with a visitor. Well, this place has turned into quite the mess. Pfizer wades through the conglomerate of wires and electronics to make it to the other side of the room. Sure is. It's organised chaos, though, in our defence. I'll have to take your word for it. Elijah looks over and then puts his head down to continue his work. I need a bathroom break anyways. I'm sure you guys have a lot to catch up on, so I'll leave you guys to it. Jasper makes his way back up the ladder, leaving only Pfizer and Elijah in the quiet, dark room. So, you just gonna keep ignoring me, kid? You may need to stop using that nickname. I got a few lifetimes on you now. Right, I spoke to Iker. He caught me up about how the sick machine works and where you're at. Good. You'll know then I'm not the same Elijah you once knew. I'm not so sure about that. What do you mean? Well, you may not be the exact same Elijah, but you're not entirely different either, from what I'm seeing. I'm not sure that's a good thing. Maybe not, but it's not like we can run from who we are. We can only do the best with what we've been dealt. Anyway, I did say I'd quiz you when you woke up to make sure these guys have looked after you. Though from what I've seen, that now seems purely academic. Still, you can vouch for these guys? Yeah, they've been good to me. Hard to believe how much has happened since you disappeared that day. I leave you for a few weeks and look what happens, jeez. You really do need someone looking after you, don't you, kid? Elijah almost cracks a smile at Pfizer's quips, but then shifts in expression. Kinda true, unfortunately. If it wasn't for you, I doubt I'd still be here. You're not wrong there. You were quite the mess when I found you. Elijah pauses as he casts his mind back to those times. I still have no idea why you helped me out at all. You turned out to be pretty useful, so it wasn't like it was all charity. That's true, but there's no reason you need to stop to talk to me outside the pub that night. Why'd you do that in the first place? Because it just felt right at the time. Is that all? Pretty much. Pfizer hops up to sit on a small bench as she continues speaking while kicking her dangling legs. After a while, you get good at following your gut. I'm definitely no saint, but I try to do what's right in my little patch of the world. If everyone did that, that's all it would take to turn this whole thing around, and not need people like Bosk running our lives for us. How do you mean? Come on, kid, you're a bright one. Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Groups like Bosk step in to run things because people don't run their lives for themselves. Sure, the pandemic created the opening, and yes, there needs to be some kind of government, but it's people who default to allowing people to run their lives for them that creates the opportunity in the first place. So that's why you do what you do in the Western sector? Kinda. I'm not trying to be political about it. I'm just doing what I think we all should. Look after our little patch of grass, step in and help someone out every now and then. It's pretty incredible what you see when you expand your world. Even just the tiniest bit. It's led me here after all. Not everyone has that capability. Not if they think that way. I've had enough crap happen to me to fill a lifetime's worth. I'm getting on after all. At some stage, you have to either choose to just get over yourself or live consumed by what's happened outside of your control. Just get over yourself? Are you implying that's what I need to do? Huh, you said I was speaking about you. I was just talking about my experience. It's not going to be the same for everyone. Not everyone has it equal. It's a sad fact of life. You just got to do what you can to adapt and survive. And for me, I just had to look past myself and live for something bigger. Live for something bigger? What's that for you? Dunno. Pfizer replies sharply as she continues to playfully kick her legs that don't reach the floor. What? But you just said that's what you do. How can you live for something bigger if you don't know what it is? I know it sounds strange, but I really don't know what it is. It's just a feeling. A knowledge of some kind. A sense that I have to live for the good of something that is bigger than just me. I believe that there is some truth and good in people and in the world worth fighting for, despite how much the world sucks right now. What makes you believe that? There is nothing out there that makes me think that. Nothing out there? I think that's a bit extreme. I believe it because it seems right. It has the best chance of changing things for the better. It's the only chance of changing things for the better. Give up believing, and the battle is as good as over. Plus, everyone needs a reason to get out of bed in the morning, even if it's just an optimistic delusion. I heard something similar from Xylo just recently. Seems you're both okay with telling yourself convenient lies. Who's to say it's a lie? The future is unwritten. There may not be any evidence now, but that doesn't mean it isn't true. Or it won't become true through that belief. We won't know what all this means until we see our journey's end. I understand the line of thinking, I just can't justify it. Pfizer, I don't have any room for blind beliefs anymore, not after what I've seen. Seems like intentional ignorance to me. You're wrong there, Elijah, I'm not ignorant. I know very well how dark this world gets. You're talking to an experienced campaigner after all. I've just learned that faith has the power to change the future. Faith isn't ignoring the truth, it's choosing to look beyond what is currently true, to create something new. The world does suck, and I'm going to pour everything into creating one that doesn't, rather than surrendering to despair. Tell me, Elijah, what's the alternative? What else do you suggest? Thought so. Still, I'm glad to see you've moved forward. Moved forward? Are you serious? What's she talking about? When you were speaking earlier, you said I when speaking about our earlier encounters. That means you do identify at least a little with the Elijah I used to know. Yet, though you seem shaky right now. There's some kind of resolve, some kind of sense I'm getting from you that you used to lack. I honestly have no clue what you mean. I don't think that's true at all. You may not see it, but I do. You'll get yourself out of the stink. Seeing you again here, I feel relieved. Elijah stews on the words of Pfizer, unsure of what to make of her belief in him. My only advice to you is this, Elijah. Just keep looking to what's ahead, keep moving forward, and learn to rely on good people around you. You've wasted enough time looking backwards whilst punishing everyone else, pushing everyone else away. Sorry. Anyway, speaking of wasted time, that's enough of forcing you to listen to an old lady's philosophical musings. I'll let you get back to work. Is it almost finished? Yeah, very close now. Just on the final touches. That's good news. I'll see you later on anyway. Visor hops down off the bench, but before managing to leave the room, Elijah calls out to her. Thanks, Visor, for coming to find me. And for what you've said. I'll think about it. Good. About time someone said they'd listen to me. Visor leaves with a typical parting quip as Elijah is left alone with his thoughts. Taking a short break from his work, Elijah sits on his bed with furrowed brows when a knock echoes out in the middle room. Elijah, can I come in? Sure. Sorry, I hope I'm not disturbing you. No, it's fine, I was just thinking about things. What is it? I just came to apologise for yesterday. I have no clue what you've been through. I shouldn't have been so insensitive with everything I was saying. I'm sorry. You don't need to be sorry, Zyla. I know I'm the one acting a little crazy right now. There's just a lot to try and wrap my head around at the moment. Visor said I need to stop looking backwards and trust the good people around me. I still don't think I'm fully able to do that right now, or if I even agree with that, but if there's one person I should try to trust, it's Zyla. She has always been there for me. I'm sorry for how I'm acting. Please, try to be patient with me. I really am trying. Elijah... Zyla looks on sympathetically to Elijah, though not with condescending eyes, but with an understanding much richer and deeper. I don't feel like you need to tell me everything. It's not like I'm trying to extract information from you. I just don't want you to have to do this alone. You've said that a few times now. Why is it so important to you? The question genuinely surprises Zyla, who was caught unawares by the poignancy of the question. Sorry, didn't mean to be intrusive. No, it's okay. I guess I know how it feels. What do you mean? Well, I have Iker. We're close, though he's always busy with missions. He's so serious all the time. He'll always be my brother. I'll always love him in that way, but living this life on the run isn't easy. It's very isolating. I see. Of course, I haven't really taken the time to consider what life must have been like for Zyla. I've let myself become so distracted all the time. She's led a tough life, the life of a fighter, despite her caring nature. I guess when I saw you, something resonated with me. Or maybe in some way, it's like by helping you, I'm trying to save myself? I don't know. Zyla steps back to the situation at hand. Sorry, I didn't mean to get all weird and start psychoanalyzing myself. No, don't be sorry. I understand. Maybe in some way we're all connected, and helping others is to help yourself. Is that why Pfizer said to trust the good people around you? Perhaps it's impossible to do anything alone. That it's not as simple as selfish or selfless. Maybe it's all a matter of connection, given and taken. Perhaps we really do need one another. Elijah pauses deep in thought. Anyway, it means a lot to me, so thanks. And thanks for being patient with me while I sort myself out. I know how stupid I sound, but I feel like Zyla gets me. No need, I'm here because I want to be here. I guess we're similar in that way then. Though there are a lot of things I'm still unresolved on, I guess. It might take me some time to sort myself out. That's okay, Elijah, I get it. I'm not going anywhere. The silence grows as the two stand looking at one another in the small room. Well, I guess I'd better go. Thanks for the talk. Thanks, Zyla, for everything. Talk soon, Elijah. After lunch, Iker gathers everyone to discuss their progress and plans for the next stage. Thanks for gathering, everyone. It's almost upon us, the time when we have to make a choice that will shape the future of humanity forever. Jasper and Elijah, how's the transmitter coming along? It's basically finished now. Basically or actually finished? It's done. We could run a few more tests to confirm and tidy up the unit so it looks a bit nicer, but I'm sure it works. What are you going to do with it now that it transmits? I think we should prepare a message to send to 2043. Right, I thought the founder said not to do that unless we had no other choice. We won't send it if we don't have to, but we should have the message prepared and loaded into the machine, so we have the option to send it if needed. What will you get the message to say? Well, the recipients will be Elijah and Dr. Tara Evans. Elijah, it'd make the most sense if you crafted the message. You would know best how to convince your past self. Did you see any memories in the sync machine about this unit, Elijah? And what date to send it to so the message gets through? I did. We had a bunch of prototype units we left running for several weeks as a test in 2043, just to see if anything would come through. We were shooting in the dark a little, and didn't really expect anything to happen, and ended up perfecting the receiver shortly afterwards. I guess sometime later Tara must have discovered one of the old units actually happened to work. Good. That should give you a pretty big window of time to send it to. We have to figure out what the message should say. We have the formula for the vaccines and the data we recovered from the other unit. What if we send that along with the message warning about Bosk back in 2043? That way we can try to find a way to get the vaccine out, but be wary in making sure it doesn't lead to Bosk's formation. Seems the way to go if you ask me. We just have to trust they'll find a way. I agree. Elijah, would you be able to record that message? It'd be more convincing coming from you. Yes. After this, Jasper and I will prepare it. Ready to send. Right, well that covers plan B. It'll be all ready to go now, should we fail or become desperate. Now for plan A, finding a way to take down the Bureau right here and now. Can that even be done? Didn't sound like the founder really had a plan on how to do it. Seemed like a pipe dream to me. We won't know until we try. I'd say it's worth a try at least, given there's always a plan B to fall back on. That's true, but it's not like there is no risk. What do you mean? If we get caught or killed, we won't be able to send that message. It's a big risk not sending it now when we have the chance. We'll leave one person in that room to push the button if everyone stops responding. We have to at least give plan A a chance while we have the opportunity. To me, it seems there are two parts to this plan we need to figure out. One, we need to find a way to disrupt or destroy the temper system. Otherwise, whatever we do, they'll find a way to send a warning to the past. Two, we need to stir enough of an uprising against the Bureau to topple them once they've lost their trump card. I'll try staying optimistic, but I gotta be honest, toppling Bosk seems real unlikely. It may seem that way, but that's just because of how powerful the temper system is. We have forgotten they don't actually have godlike power, they just have had a way to always stay one step ahead. Without it, they could very well panic. They've grown so accustomed to using it, who knows how they'd fare without it. You know, I've heard some people in the western sector were planning something for later in the year. What were they planning? Some kind of retaliation against Bosk, not sure what, but maybe we could get them to join us and work together. As Zyla said, if we go in with a clear plan and they're taken by surprise, and that without the temper system to save them, we might just pull it off. Do you think you'd reach out to them, see if they join forces? They're all fucking dead. Beckett's out there killing them right now. Definitely. Take a bit of time to set up, but we could do it. Yeah, we'll make it happen. Sounds like getting numbers to fight might be possible, which means we don't really need to address the elephant in the room. The fact is, we don't know if it's... We need to address the elephant in the room. The fact is, we don't know if it's possible to disrupt the temper system. Without that, the plan is certain to fail. The founder certainly didn't know, but there is only one person here who would know it was possible. Elijah, what do you think? Can it be done? Elijah takes a moment to think before responding with a slow and intentional tone of voice. I don't know of any way that would be possible. Why is that? Isn't there something we could blow up or take out the network or something? It isn't a network, each unit connects directly to the Tempest field. I'll need some more time to look into it, so you need to dismantle physics. I'll need some more time to look into it. I obviously don't want to say it can't be done before I've even tried. I'm just saying that from what I already know, it may very well turn out to be impossible. Still, as you've said, it's worth a try. Weighing up the different perspectives from the long-planned meeting, Iker pauses in thought before standing resolutely to declare their plans. Here's what we'll do. Elijah and Jasper, prepare the message to send to 2043 right away. Once you finish, begin your work on a way to try and disrupt the temper system. We will leave a few here with you for protection. This will be Squad 1. Got it. Squad 2 will make preparations right away to travel to the city. Led by Pfizer, your mission will be to gather a force to join us in our fight. Choose carefully and only include those who can be vouched for. Right. If either of these missions don't succeed, or it looks like we'll get caught, then we'll move to Plan B and send the message to 2043. Any objections? The room is silent. They all appear to be on board with the plan. Okay, let's begin our preparations. A few hours later, Elijah and Jasper round off their work in the dark room below. Okay, that should be correct now. And you've double-checked the sequence identifier and the date? Yes. The message is uploaded and all the parameters are correct. It's ready to be sent. Everything looks good from my end. Looks like we've finished preparing our plan B. Elijah decides to... I can't click on question marks. What does that mean? Do we have to do something different to get that question mark to come up? Inform Iker the message is ready, I guess. Alright, let's head up and talk to Iker. Wonder what that is. All we need to know. So it's complete? Yeah, all good to go. Good. The other group has almost finished their preparations to travel back to the city. They'll be heading out soon. Who's staying here? I'll stay with you, as will Zyla. The rest are heading with Pfizer. Makes sense. Alright, you better get on with your next project. Let me know if you need anything. For the meantime, I'll be helping the other group get away. This plan of ours hangs on a knife's edge. Let's just hope things go our way. Well, if Pfizer's not here... That means Beckett can't find Elijah, at least. Several hours later, Iker calls Elijah and Jasper back up from their work. As he begins to speak, he wears a grave expression on his face. Thanks for coming up. What's wrong? It's not often you wear a face like that. We've lost all communication with the other squad. They're all dead. What? When was the last time you heard from them? We lost them only 20 or so minutes after they left. I thought it might just be a glitch or something, but you'd think we would have re-established connection by now. You would. There's usually a backup signal too, so it's unlikely both wouldn't be working. You think the Bureau found them? How'd they be able to do that? No idea, but it looks really bad to me. We have to assume the worst. But we don't know if they've been captured yet. There could be another good reason why they lost communication. Maybe. But it's pretty unlikely. It's almost certain that they've been captured or killed. Should we go to the surface and scope it out? We can't just give up on them. It's more risk than it's worth. They could break in here any moment already as it is. I think... Jasper's in the midst of speaking when suddenly... Huh? What was that noise? Here comes Beckett. A blinding flash absorbs their world. Ugh. The deafening explosion of blinding light causes their world to collapse into confusion. After a few seconds, their vision and hearing slowly begin to return, as Iker lifts his voice to be heard over their ringing ears. What's happening? Stun grenade, we're under attack. Odd alert, they'll be coming down the ladder. Elijah tries to look around to regather his bearings, but his sight hasn't yet recovered from the disorienting flash. Jasper, get Elijah down the ladder. We're moving to plan B. Right. Still affected by the stun grenade, Jasper and Elijah make their way to the ladder. Staying behind, Iker turns to Zyla. You okay, Zyla? Getting there. Zyla, we need to buy as much time as we can. That is our sole role now. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm ready. As Iker sees Elijah make his way to the room below, he switches his attention, positioning himself facing the ladder. Well, Zyla, we started this whole thing together. Looks like it's going to end that way too. Yeah, I guess you're right. Not the end I had in mind, but I guess you can't choose these things. If the message works, the world will be reset back to 2043. That's before we ever met. I hope we end up finding each other again. Who knows, it might happen. We found each other once after all. Anyway, thanks for being the best big bro I could wish for. Thank you for sticking with me all these years. The two fix their eyes before them as they hear the enemy drawing close. Well, here they come. Let's buy Elijah as much time as we can. Right, hold nothing back. Zyla and Iker run in side by side, raising a battle cry as the troop of soldiers descend upon them. Rah! With dizzying speed, Zyla and Iker run straight into the midst of the arriving soldiers, making it difficult for them to get a clear shot for the danger of crossfire. Iker and Zyla strike venomously in the midst of the soldiers as their strategy limits the use of firearms, apart from several wayward shots. Damn it! Ugh. As if dancing, their movements seamlessly complement each other in the midst of battle, the likes of which can only be achieved through years of training alongside each other. They tear through the oncoming soldiers with unhindered ferocity. Although the officers fire off several shots in response, for fear of friendly fire in the confined space, they're unable to freely target their fast-moving opponents. Encircle them! Don't let them intimidate you! Yes, sir. The swarming soldiers momentarily get the upper hand via sheer numbers, as Iker is forced to part from Zyla to dodge an incoming bullet. Iker rolls along the ground before swiftly straightening on all fours. Crouching to the ground like a stalking beast, Iker sizes up his targets. Knowing he mustn't be separated from Zyla in the midst of battle, Iker sees his opening as he surges forward, mustering all his ferocity into his strike. Iker springs into action with a raising uppercut, using the momentum and opening created by the strike. Iker makes his way back alongside Zyla as the two reset for their next attack. Since a young age, they had forged their fighting styles together, as it unfurls in a full array of for their final battle, as if it had all been for this very moment. Don't slow down now, every second counts. Right. There's only two of them, shoot them down! We're trying to, they're too fast. So brightly did the two shine together in their final moments. The adopted siblings, Iker and Zyla. The pair fought for a world beyond their sight, right up until their final breaths. Meanwhile, Jasper and Elijah fly down the long ladder with tremendous speed. On their descent, Jasper yells out frantically to Elijah, "Don't forget the damage section, be careful!" Right. Jumping the last several rungs, they sprint into the room. We left it on, so it should be right to go. Good. Double check the readings, they're all good from your end. I'll bring up the message. On it. Elijah types away with furious speed and precision as he pulls up the pre-prepared message and checks the system's readings. How's it looking? It's all good from what I can see. Looks good here too. As Elijah starts to make the final checks, he begins to doubt the situation as conflicting thoughts fill his mind. Are you sure this is the right call? We have no idea the effect this will have on the timeline. What if this means many more will die from the pandemic? Elijah, focus! You've got to send that message. Damn it, I have to make a call. Is Bosk so bad it's worth such a risk? Millions of lives are in my hands. I've seen for myself what a hellscape that disease could cause. I don't want to return to the world to a timeline like that. What do I do? Quick, Elijah, I hear them coming. Send the message. At the moment of a decision, Elijah decides to... save. Elijah decides to save the game so that we can come back to this. Send the message. Alright, Jasper, I'm sending it now. Elijah reaches out his hand and with slight hesitation, is this really the right thing to do? Do it! Hurry up! Obliges to press the activation button. I can only hope we've done the right thing. This is definitely not going to be the good end. I can tell that much. It's going to be an end, but it's not going to be the true end or whatever. Especially with that question mark one. How do I get back to that, huh? What do I need to do to get that one? An aged Elijah stands overlooking a partially abandoned city in a spot very familiar to him. He doesn't know what it is about this location that draws him to it, but he finds a sense of clarity and nostalgia every time he does. Unlike the other times, he's come on this occasion with purpose. He pulls out a notepad and pen as he begins to write the words he's been avoiding for many years. September 14th, 2091. My name is Elijah Shaw. To whoever is out there that might read this, consider this my coming clean. My final confession. It shames me that I only have the courage to do this now near the end, but I suppose that's just the way I am. You will know me as the man who received the vaccine from the future. As you will well know, few believed my claims back in 2043. By the time the pandemic hit in 2047, and it became evident I was telling the truth, it was almost too late. To think over the half of the world's population could be wiped out so quickly. It's something most of us still haven't come to terms with. The subsequent wars over resources, vaccination supplies, all of it have led our world into chaos and ruin. I wear these all as my personal sins. Every death I consider as if it were my hand that held the knife to their throat. You may be wondering why I feel this way, given I was the one who pleaded with the world to listen to my claims. What I never came clean with was the full truth of that message I received on that day, in 2043. The truth I chose to accept as I deleted all evidence as it instructed. It is true I received a message with vaccine from the future. What I never told anyone was that it was sent from a future where 8 billion souls were saved. A future where the rollout of the vaccine happened effectively. A future of order, free from war and starvation. I chose to listen to the message I'd received and steer the future according to its designs. I was naive and trusted this message merely because it came from my future self. The future was not perfect, it was restricted, devoid of freedoms. I'm sure my future self from that timeline was convinced he was doing the right thing. How foolish. For what could you trade 4 billion lives? What justice is there for them? And even if those that did survive, what use is that extra freedom if it is spent only clinging to life in desperate poverty? How we know well, some freedoms would be a small price to pay in comparison to the hell we have had to endure. You never know what the outcome might be of your well-intentioned plans to fix the world. I know that too well now. If there was a way to get back to that timeline and to erase my actions, I would. However, they never sent back any plans to develop the Tempest transmitter they built. I suppose they viewed the world as a safer place without that technology. I never managed to crack the secret to create one myself either. If I could somehow send a message to them and tell them to stop, I would. If only I could reach out across space, time and dimensions and ask them to find another way, I would. These are my sins. I want history to record the truth of who I was and what I did, even if I was too cowardly to admit it in my lifetime. Don't make the same mistakes I did. Weigh carefully your effects on the world. This isn't some child's game to be solved so easily, if the puzzle can be solved at all. We all shape reality in our own way, and whilst it can get better, it can also get radically worse. I chose to believe that this world would recover someday, that humanity will flourish again, but my eyes don't deserve to see it. This is the truth of my life, of who I am and what I've done. These are my final words. My life is about to come to an end. Learn from me and make the future a better one. Elijah Shaw. I said this wasn't going to be a good end. I knew it, deep down. Whew, and that's the end. But it's not the end, is it? It's the end, but it's not the end. So obviously we're going to be back in the next episode trying to find the end, or how we can open up that question mark one, or trying the other option instead of sending the message. It might just be a quick death. I don't know. Maybe to unlock the question marks we have to go through and get all the deaths. I could do that in my own time, or we could do it on this. I don't really mind either way. But we shall see. I'll let the credits roll this time. I mean, that was an interesting end. It wasn't a good end, but it was interesting. And it's certainly true that good intentions and all that, you know, best laid plans and all that. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow to try and find another end. Till then, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.